world? My name is Rouse, back again with another daily dose of health, wealth, and vibe. Uh, Bringing y'all nothing but that God vibe energy. Today, I want to discuss, man, the ideas or the concepts of perception versus reality. I'm gonna keep reiterating this in a lot of my videos, but the collective consciousness is shifting. The collective consciousness is shifting. And I know that when we say things like collective conscious, we tend to think that it has to do with something outside of ourselves, right? And in a sense, it does. But the collective conscious essentially is just the umbrella in which all of our consciousness exists under. It's all tapped into the same. Think of it as a bigger brain, and all our smaller brains are tapped into this bigger brain. Not to say that we have a smaller brain, but you get the idea. So, but more importantly, man, the revolution is happening inside of us, and what's going on in the state of the world that we're in right now, a lot of it is, we can tie it into, perception versus reality. People trying to understand reality based off of their previous perceptions, or people trying to come up with a new perception based off of a new reality that's being established. You know what I mean? So, I think it's very important that we have this kind of discussion right now. What is perception versus reality? And, what exactly, how do you even know? Or which one do you find your peace or your truth in? Well, first, what is perception? Perception is basically your idea of what you're experiencing, right? It's your own interpretation of whatever is hitting your senses or your mental or your spiritual, even your physical even. And based off of this experience, you're developing your own understanding. And what's reality? Reality is what's going on in real time, what's really happening in real life around you. What are you doing? How is your real life and being impacted in real time? Reality. We all know what that is. But I think a lot of us dibble and dabble in either or, trying to gain a sense of origin about who we are and the things that we're involved with, right? And I believe that a lot of us, because of things like social media and television, and just we've gotten through. We're still kind of in the phase of the celebrity. It's kind of dwindling out, but in America, the celebrity is highly important, and because of this, it's always about perception. It's always about what you're trying to get off, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So from that standpoint, our reality can be altered, or we can reconfigure our own reality based off of perception, and this can be a good or a bad thing, right? So if you got peace in your life, you're either on one end of the spectrum or not, but you can still be in the middle somehow, some way. So if you got peace, you probably come up with a healthy perception of your reality, right? Or you've come up with a perception that you want your reality to be, and you found some way or somehow to make that possible, make that truly exist in real time. You can have peace being more focused on a reality than your perception. A lot of us are logical, and we like to use our analytical skills to find a sense of balance and understanding and peace in this world. So for those types of people, you can definitely have peace as well with your existence in reality. But a lot of people these days are being led astray. A lot of people are leading themselves astray because of their lack of ability to understand exactly where their peace is within the two dynamics, and where their truth is as well as the world's truth is within those two dynamics. Not to be too political, right? But we're living in a time now where there's clearly multiple agendas being pushed onto the people, onto the collective conscious, for a purpose that's, probably not even beneficial for the people involved, for us, the common folk, right? But the powers that be understand that in order to create a new reality, we have to create a new perception of the reality that exists now. And this has probably been going on since the beginning of time, but things are inevitable, and now we're at a point where everyone's waking up, and a lot of people are taking different sides of the coin, thinking that this benefits them more than the other side. But ultimately, like I said, everyone that's down here kind of are being dealt with the same way by the things and the people that are up here, but they're looking at each other as enemies because of their perception. They're not really looking at reality. And and these things can equate to a lot of different things. A lot of us hold on to our perceptions of what we comfortable with, or what we want to be involved with, or what we want to put our energy into because of past pain or past trauma. Some of it is due to proximity and association, right? Our friends think this way, so we want to think this way. Our family thinks this way, so we want to think this way. I'm white or I'm black, so I want to view reality with this type of perception, right? But we gonna have to break down these barriers and get to a place of collective unity. Like I said in my previous video, it's not about independence or codependence. It's about independently coexisting. Nobody has to agree on the same perception, but we do all have to have a certain amount of understanding of the same reality so that we can deal with things accordingly. Because as much as we like to have free will and liberty and to do a lot of different things, we need some semblance of structure in order to guide our perceptions and our intentions with these perceptions. So really think about if you have peace or harmony in your life, and really think about which end of the spectrum are you too deep in. For some of us, we got to learn how to stay in the middle, because dipping and dabbling too far left or right is going to knock us off our square. Sometimes you can be too logical to where you're ruining passionate moments, and you're not even opening yourself up to divine intervention because you're so stuck on tangible reality. And sometimes you can be so caught up in your perception of things that you can still create the same result, but just from a different approach or angle. So, yeah, man. So the next question is like, how does one find the clarity to understand which one of these is affecting them the most? So, well, I say, like I always say, tap into yourself first. Learn exactly who you are and what you want out of life. You know what I mean? What are the things that you set forth as principles or as guidelines for you being able to evaluate your progression in life, or just evaluate the quality of your existence, right? So let's say, for example, if your perception of reality is that I have to basically give all of myself to people, right? I have to give everything away in order to gain. Now that could be successful for some and completely detrimental to others. It just really depends on the balance, you know what I'm saying? Even if you stuck on one end of the spectrum, or even if one perception is more beneficial or reality is more beneficial, you're gonna still have to have some type of balance in the middle to establish your understanding of your reality or your perception, right? To make it fathomable, to make it more, how can I say it? To make your perception or your reality more congruent with what's going on in real time, you know what I'm saying? But how do you find the clarity to know which one is affecting your life? Well, I say, look at yourself 5 or 10 years ahead, and then look at yourself 5 or 10 years in the past, and then learn how to be objective, right? You right now, step back and then look left and look right and look at both of yourselves, and then you see how the last 5 years have got you to this point, and understand if you feel comfortable with that, if you feel at peace with what you've set up for yourself based off of how you've been perceiving things or how you've been interacting with reality, right? And then look to the right and look to your future and say, if I keep acting this way, if I keep looking at reality, or if I keep having my perception be this way of reality, who will I be, or what will be of me or my existence in 5 to 10 years? And that's how you judge it. No one's here to decide who or what or how someone should live or what they should be, who they should be. That's a personal decision. Like I said, independent coexistence, and you shouldn't be looking for acceptance in that matter. But in order to find the clarity in which to see which one is affecting you the most, you gotta definitely um, just be able to look at the past and then place yourself in the future based off of who you are right now and what you've been doing to get to this point, and see if it's going to be beneficial for you in 5 to 10 years. Um, don't be rocked to sleep though in either form. It's like I'm gonna keep saying, there's things going on bigger outside of ourselves that's kind of tailoring the way that we perceive each other, the way that we perceive ourselves. You know what I mean? It's a lot of things that are making us submit to this submissive energy through anger or through fear or through lack of attainment in some type of way. You know, don't be so driven by tangible form that your perception of reality is unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? We all live in America. We know this is the land of big money, big opportunity, right? But that's the perception of it, at least. But the reality is, it's a hell of a hard time for people who live here, right? And that's the same is true for everybody around the world. But I live here in America, so this is what I'm talking about. But you know, um, don't be rocked to sleep by people who have their pendulum swayed in one direction, and you're trying to stay balanced, but these people are persistent upon you having yours stuck in this way because it allows them to do this over here. You know what I'm saying? Really own your reality, own your perception, own the fact that no one can make you do anything that you don't want to do. If you're being persuaded by powers outside of yourself, and 9 times out of 10, it's what you're signing up for and it's what you truly want. Don't make these spiritual contracts with things and these energies that's going to persuade you or take you away from true peace. You know what I'm saying? So just find clarity and understanding which one is affecting your life the most, right? Decide which one is more beneficial or more necessary to project. And when I say project, this means like, you know, like which one do you need to step into more? So like I'm saying, based off of them, you don't want to get yourself into, you don't want to create negative spiritual karma for yourself. So what you need to do is like really understand like which one, to see which one has been dominating your existence, and then go from there, right? And if one or the other has been dominant, like I know some people who live a spiritual path, their perception, they create their reality based off of their perception of spirituality. So they dedicate their whole lives to this divine path, right? And some find ultimate peace, some spend that whole divine path trying to find ultimate eternal peace, right? But it's really about your true soul's ambition. It's really about what you truly want out of this thing called life. Like I said, no one's here to dictate how you gotta live your life. That's a personal decision. But if you're a truly empathetic being, which we should be, if you're a truly conscious being, which I think that we should be, you know, you're gonna understand, like I was saying at the beginning of this video, we're all streams of consciousness tapped into a bigger ocean of consciousness, right? And we all have to make sure that we filling this bigger ocean of consciousness up with the right things. We don't want to be contributing pollution to that bigger consciousness, right? Because then in turn, you know, and then we want to make sure, we want to be conscious of our perceptions of reality, because a lot of times we don't understand that that's what we're doing, right? So we get to that place where we're trying to ascend, and then because of all the negative pollution, which is negative energy, negative intentions, you know, just that whole type of thing, because of all that we've contributed to the overall collective conscious, it's going to come back and bite us. That's what we call negative karma, because karma can be good or bad, right? So, you know, ain't neither one or more necessary. It's up to us to decide that fact. But like I said, if you're a truly empathetic being, if you're a truly conscious being, then you need to really understand and realize what's going on in your reality. And 9 times out of 10, the reality that you're experiencing is based off of your perception of what you either want reality to be, what you think it should be, or just simply you fighting against it, you know. You gotta find true acceptance first, you know. like they say in Alcoholics Anonymous and all these other things, like the first step to recovery is admitting that you have a problem. It's admission, right? So just really admit to yourself and see who are you, what have you been doing, what have you been thinking, not just about other people, but about yourself, right? What have you been projecting based off of your negative or positive perception of yourself, right? How has your reality been causing you to alter your perception of yourself? These are things, these are just food for thought that you got to continuously think about, man. We can't, as we all transcend into this higher consciousness level, we can't continue to blame people for our lack of understanding or our lack of ownership over our own lives. God gave us the will, or whatever being that you dedicate your life to or believe in. We were all gifted with the ability to have free will, and we have to exercise that in a healthy manner so that we can all have a peaceful existence down here on earth. So yeah, like I said, my name is Roz. It's another daily dose of health, wealth, and vibe. I by no means think that I'm some type of professor or genius or nothing. I'm just trying to kick game. Getting on this thing helped me understand my perception and reality as well. So we all gotta be just works in progress. And that's the thing too, it's like, don't, as soon as the soul is content is usually when problems arise. Always look to have peace and understanding, but don't be content until, we all can be content. A lot of us think that we were created, and some of us were created just to enjoy what the hell, the luxuries of life, if you will. Maybe this is our lifetime to enjoy it. Maybe we've been grinders in other lifetimes, and now we were incarnated here to enjoy it. But the majority of us got some work to do, and a lot of it ain't got nothing to do with people outside yourself. The most work that you gonna ever have to do and need to worry about is yourself. So yeah, I'm gonna continue to give y'all this God vibe energy. Please give it back. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, drop a comment. Let me know how you feel about this. Give me a question, give me an answer. And y'all continue to stay blessed out there.